thanks for joining the Dare to Do More webinar. It's a real pleasure to be with you today. Today's topic will be focused on data and analytics. We have three of our key functional representatives, Gaston, Aleix, and Manuel, who will be introducing themselves in a bit. A bit of housekeeping. This webinar will last 1 hour, starting with the poll questions and followed by a roundtable. The webinar will be recorded, as you have heard, and you will be able to find the recording at the webinar tab at the Dare to Do More landing page. Furthermore, if you have any questions during the session, please feel free to place them at the Q&A box, and we will be answering them at the end of the roundtable. And well, I introduce myself. My name is Maria Pesentia. I'm at the Talent Acquisition and Talent Management team in Europe, working at PepsiCo for more than 5 years and located in Barcelona. Now I'm giving the stage to Gaston, Aleix, and Manuel to introduce themselves.
Hi everyone, thank you for joining. I know the time is in the middle of the day, but thank you for taking the time. My name is Gaston Besançon. I'm head of data science for the data and analytics organization. I have a global role, but I'm based in Barcelona. I'm joined by two colleagues, Manuel and Aleix. Manuel, please, if you can introduce yourself.
Of course. Hello, everyone. My name is Manuel Blanco. As Gaston said, I am from his team. I work as a senior data scientist for PepsiCo. And my background a little bit, I come from consulting and academia.
Well, maybe I should introduce myself. Hello, guys. Nice to meet you all. My name is Aleix. I'm also based in Barcelona. I'm a data scientist in the data analytics team. And my background is in physics, where I spent a lot of time doing research in labs and research centers. And at that time, I started getting involved in data science process, doing optimizations and analyzing that data. And then I realized that data science is a very cool field, and that's why I decided to change. And I worked in another company, and then for 2 months ago, I started working in PepsiCo in the data science team. Thank you all.
Thank you so much to the three of you. And well, let's go and start with the poll questions, introducing some of the topics that will be covered in the webinar today. So we're starting for the first one. In which areas can data science be applied for PepsiCo? What do you think? Can be demand planning, revenue management, supply chain management, financial P&L optimization, or all the above? What do you guys think? Great. The majority of you went to the right question.
Yes, indeed. It's all of the above. And basically, as data science is a field that utilizes data in order to derive actions, be it descriptive or predictive or prescriptive actions. And all of these different use cases involve data that can be leveraged to utilize that. For example, demand planning will consist on predictions, financial P&L optimization, and optimization utilizing different features. So yeah, the correct answer is all of the above.
Thank you, Manuel. All right, moving to the second one. Where will the data science team have their largest teams? United States, Spain, China, India, across the globe? Not an easy one. Answers are coming. Right, so 40% for Spain.
Okay, that one actually there's a question that I did, right? And it's just an example where sometimes we need to derive insights in an uncertainty situation, right? You don't know where we are having our largest teams, right? But sometimes you need to provide an initial hypothesis to move forward, right? This idea of failing fast, this was the idea of the question, right? So let me open a little bit the book for you. We're a global team. We are building a big team in Barcelona. We're building a big team in Dallas. The biggest one will be in Barcelona. And the other locations will be smaller, but we will have presence there. Again, the idea of this question just to give you a flavor of being being comfortable with uncertainty. Just that, fail fast is something that for us data science is really important, and in there to do more. Again, I don't want to do a selling speech, but is that we want people that are not afraid of failing. And we will correct as we progress, as we continue learning, and that's the idea of there to do more. Maria Jose, I extended.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And the third one is coming. What kind of academic backgrounds does the data science team have at PepsiCo? Mathematics, economics, physics, engineering, all the above and more. We're gonna wait a few seconds for the participants to answer. Let's see where it comes. All the above and more. We have 79% of the participants who have answered.
And they're mostly correct, of course, because well, we have people with many different backgrounds, people that studied economics in the past, maths, engineering, even biology, and other topics. But I think the message to take home is that we are not looking for very excellent people that are, well, we are looking for excellent people, but not very people that have a lot of knowledge in very specific topics in artificial intelligence, but rather people that are proactive, that want to learn more, that want to do many things, and basically all kinds of profiles can fit into that. Just be passionate about data science, and you will find the place here.
It encourages me to apply, Ale. Moving to the next one. So what is not covered by data science? Predict future demand, optimize pricing, establish connections between databases, delivery route planning, segmenting types of customers. Let's see what our participants think about the right answer. The answers will come soon. It's coming now. Okay, it's quite balanced, but the 42% of participants went to the delivery route planning.
Yes, and yeah, and that's quite interesting, because we prepare this to kind of draw the line between what we think is and is not covered by data science. So as people working in the field, typically we interpret it as set of tools, techniques, methodologies by which we analyze data, we process it, and we utilize it into the building of models that can help solving different business solutions. But let's say what data science in principle would not cover is all the requirements before it happens, which is a sort of accessing, preparing the data, and establishing the proper connections. Although we can do it, we have the technical capabilities to do so, and at some points it needs to be done. But we are more about solving the problem at hand, which could be any of the A, B, D, and E options, like predicting future demand, optimizing pricing, delivery route planning, which is at the end sort of an optimization problem, or segmenting different types of customers, which stands for selecting which customer has which different features or characteristics. But the correct answer in this case, it would be the C.
Great, thank you, Manuel, for the great explanation. And well, I'm sure that with the poll questions, the participants have had, like a starting point of view of the data and analytics. And we are going to move now to the round table. And Gaston, I'm going to start with you. With a question, try to understand if you can give some examples on how you use creativity in your job.
Sure. So we associate, again, personal definition. We can agree to disagree. Creativity comes to either to be fast in solving something, that doesn't need to be the perfect way, but just to create that initial A to B connection. Then creativity could come on what we call innovation. That means an innovation is not invention. It's you take an approach that has worked for you in other problem, right? I'm gonna go, Maria Jose. I'm gonna try to give an example, but and then we reshape it and we use it in another use case. When I mean use case, I mean what Manuel and Lech were mentioning. Demand planning or route optimization planning, right? So something that was useful for me for demand planning, right? Like let's say trying to predict what the set of let's say let me be basic, like a set of consumers may customers will try to demand from us, right? That's a prediction, right? That's what we call forecasting, right? I do a certain methodology that's thinking about long-term horizons. So we're thinking about not only short-term, not only something that happens this week, but it could be something that happens in 6 months ahead, right? Something like that. I do some approach, with Manu, with Alej, and then that works. Then someone else comes and say, hey, we actually need to optimize the route, the last mile. That means the last mile of delivery within our bands to the different retailers, to the bar, if we're doing beverages, right, to the bar in the corner. I could use the same approach, but I need to innovate a little bit because I need to do a tweak in the methodology because it's not the same day by day type of prediction where I need to use weather, right? So a way to be creative, again, is move fast and see if we can solve something, but also to say, okay, I have done something different for some other problem, how I can bring that knowledge and start from some base and try to resolve the problem. Creativity comes in so many ways, and this is the fun part. There's no definition for intelligence. There's no single definition for creativity. Maria Jose, tell me if that serves the purpose.
Yeah, that really serves the purpose of the creativity. And I have another question for you, Gaston. And what could you say that you like the most about working in data and analytics at PepsiCo? What can you say to the attendees?
Okay, so super personal. So we're becoming personal now. For me was, let's say that before PepsiCo, I was working in the more intangible world. And for me, coming to PepsiCo and being part of producing something that is real, that we can touch, that can I say to my kids, hey, Daddy works there, that ability and knowing that in a company like this one, which is all about execution, producing value, people are working in factories, delivering this, thinking at different orders. Me as a data scientist, me and my colleagues here, we are trying to help them to do better execution, do better planning, see things that they typically don't see, because the fun about data science, and we need to be open-minded, is that if we use with good data, proper techniques, good hypotheses, good way of thinking, we can see things that non-expert were seeing that we need to do to produce a good output. That ability to put light in things that a user of 20 years, an engineer of 20 years, is outside their action plan. Being able to support that with data science, for me is the key reason why I'm here. So let me outline again. Working in PepsiCo, intangible thing, delivering work that helps our people on the ground, executing. For me, that's key. And this is becoming fun because I learn by working with these colleagues, where I can be at service a much better, support system. Because in the end, we are a support system. We are, we are, again, sorry, Maria Jose, extended, we are a cool, job description. But in the end, what we do is to help others, Yeah, it's fun, AI, yeah. We use all that to augment the information set or the action plan that our colleagues can use. So they can be focusing on the high value cases. All that is less routinary, opening an Excel, closing it. Our work is trying to, with others, help to create applications that manual work goes away. I'm talking about the routinary stuff that we all do, yeah, that's it, Maria Jose.
I hear you. Thanks. Thank you. And moving, like you have given a really clear explanation, like what do you like the most, but also, and I'm sure that the audience will be interested in terms of the career development. Perhaps, like Manuel or Alex can also mention how does a career development look like in data and analytics?
I don't know, Manu, Alex, you want to give your own impression? Or I can
go
continue
ahead.
talking.
Yeah.
I can continue talking, but I think we are a team, and I think others also have their opinion. Yeah.
Well, in the data and analytics team, of course, first things is that you have to learn some basics, how everything works. And after some time, you start bringing value to the company. And because PepsiCo is a massive company with many departments, many projects going on, there will be many occasions to prove your value, to show your projects and to show your ideas, and this will help you boost your career growth in the future inside the company, and there will be many options for that. Also, I mentioned that you learn, and actually want to say that PepsiCo has like this PepsiCo University where there are many resources for you to learn and improve your skills in many different fields, not only in data science, but leadership, communication, in all areas that you think you could use those resources for your personal and professional lives. PepsiCo has all the materials for you. It has many advantages to work here, and well, it's the career development looks very interesting here.
Let me complement that, Alex. So the
Sure.
team of data and analytics is focusing on a lot of programs that are global, right? That's really important. We are helping in a global way the company to accelerate their digital transformation. From a talent perspective, as Alex mentioned, the company has a lot of resources, so we can upscale ourselves, right? Regardless of the domain that we want to do that. From a data analytics perspective, there's a career path, right? And there's let me tell you how we measure each other, right? And I hope Manuela and Alex will not be scared about this. So we measure with three levels of activities. One is delivery. Data science is a delivery team. We need to deliver work. That's by definition. Every one of us are doing delivery. Some are single contributors, someone's leading a team, Some as more of a quality assurance, a little bit my role, like seeing a solution and try to see the holes that is there, right? Some as a subject matter experts, you know, Manuel has a lot of experience in forecasting. So someone is doing forecasting. Okay, Manuel, hey, can you come in and check something? Alej the same with optimization. So delivery, that's a must in our career path. We need to be comfortable to deliver work, to be stressed, you know, in a happy way, you know, like we are, you know, think about sports, you know, you play important games, there's a stress there, but you feel comfortable because you are up to the task. The other two activities are innovation. Innovation, again, with creativity, has many flavors. Because we have a product mentality in DNA, there's a possibility to do innovation in the roadmaps of the products. But also we have something that we call, and it's starting, to be honest, and for me the dear to more to do more talent is key on this, which is what we call next fiscal innovation. That is preparing what we will need in our next fiscal year, either at the development teams creating these products, or something that is a little bit new and we didn't match yet the use case for that, you know, but we are feeling that someone will ask about that. So, and the last one, which is community. We are all buddies and mentors among ourselves to upscale our not only our network within the company, but our skill sets. And this is not only IQ, could be EQ, you know, our ability to engage, our ability to manage ourselves, you know, in situations. So I think the career path, we would like to grow in these three areas. One is a mandatory one. From this program perspective, my wish will be focusing a little bit more on innovation, right? Being these explorers that will help us leapfrog. Even though explorers that I did this in my past job, you know, doesn't need to be an expert on the topic. It should be drive by the unknown and say, okay, I'm going to read 45 papers and give you a number, right? It could be less, of course, but and be eager to say, okay, I can explain this, you know, I can be helping Manu to go a little bit deeper, even though that a month ago you didn't know of a particular subject, nothing, right? Then as we grow as colleagues, you know, the level of responsibility grows, you know. My level of responsibility is larger than my colleagues here, but I assure you that from a value perspective, they deliver more value than me, right? So we grow so we can allow others to produce value. I create value, you know, but for me it starts to be not incremental. My incremental, let's say, value, I cannot use another word for that, is that providing to these two gentlemen the ability to feel comfortable and create their own stuff that are the true value driven for our solutions. Again, Maria Jose, I think I did a cocktail of many concepts together, but I wanted to give you a full-fledged answer.
Yeah, no, and that's very clear and it's very appealing to, you know, like to hear and you know, like get this overview of the team. We have some questions already in the Q&A. We will be answering them by the end, but encourage all of you to place, you know, like the questions during the webinar, and thank you for this. I have, you know, like a question regarding, you know, like the first dates at PepsiCo. How, you know, like what were your first dates in PepsiCo like, and has the job met your expectations? To any of the three of you who would like to go to take this question?
I can go next. Sure. Regarding onboarding or my first days, I can say that the expectation was actually quite exceeded. I'm coming from a background where I was more used to being given something and you just do it yourself, and there's no context, you know, and you go ahead without it, and but you are expected to deliver something. And one thing I really appreciated is that we had like quite extensive onboarding meetings that gave us a pretty good visibility of what the company and concretely this department is trying to achieve. And So it was really great. It was also really great to meet in the first days my new colleagues and get to know them. We have a very good bond between us. We have a really good team spirit, and yeah. So in terms of expectations, the job from the human side, at least, and from the onboarding perspective, it has well exceeded them. From the day-to-day work, uh, it is also pretty good, I would say. We are doing the right thing. We are not hurrying to get results, although delivery is relevant, as Gaston mentioned. We are trying to do things in the appropriate manner, and we have a team of really well skilled people that, as Gaston said, we complement each other because I do not have the same background as Alej, so I can go and ask him, and he can come and ask me, as we actually do on a day-to-day basis, and we complement each other, which help us both to grow. So to wrap up, I would say that expectations have not been met; they have been actually exceeded.
Super. And I can see, like also from you, what you have mentioned, that teamwork is there, is in the team.
Yeah.
Super. Gaston, what are the key future skills that the data analytics professional needs to succeed in his or her role?
Let's start for the most valuable ones. I think communication is key. It's something that we again, I'm becoming a little bit philosophical, and apologies for that, but communication is key. We sometimes, when we are in the day-to-day and in high-performing teams, boom, 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 and sometimes we create our own silos, and we think that everyone is our head. So when I say something to Manuel, I expect he has the context that I have in my head, and he will understand whatever I said, right? So big mistake that sometimes I do repeatedly. So communication is key. Is within the team, we need to sometimes over communicate what we are doing, when we are failing. Again, sometimes this profession, among others profession, this idea of I will do it, I just need more time. I will succeed if I put the level of effort that I estimate. Sometimes when we estimate, we're really bad estimating this, right? So it's not that we put things even worse. The problem is that we are assuming that no one else can help us for A, B, C reasons, and we lose potentially half of a day. Until at the end of the day, when someone does a check, or next morning in a daily meeting, you see that you didn't succeed on that. And the answer, the question of everyone will be, why didn't you ask for help? Why didn't you tell us? Why do you say, okay, that actually you said that you needed a day, but actually you needed more, So communication is not just managing expectation. It's just a way to release sometimes pressures that we put into ourselves. That's from a key perspective. The other one, if we go to the technical side, data science is an applied kind of field. That means that you would like to prototype whatever you are thinking, right? Not only create the hypothesis of we can be discussing in a bar, having a coffee, and we talk about, a potential hypothesis. No, being driven to say, okay, I have this hypothesis. I'm happy to test it if it's wrong or right. I'm happy to be wrong. Let's test it. For testing this, you have to have abilities to scrap data or grab a CSV file. I'm going with different, more basic or more advanced examples. Being able to intake data in real time, right? To process that. That process could be using different programming languages. Typically, at this stage of the career of many, these are more on the scripting languages. That means Python, R, right? People that come from statistics will be more used to being R. People that are more from a computer science or started learning programming the past 4 years are more of a Python talent pool. So in the end, having a tool to prototype that. And that means knowing how to wrangle, cleaning, and put the data in the right format. That for generic terms, that could be SQL, understanding a little bit of syntax on that. The other side is to okay, now that the data is okay, how I take insights, derive insights from this. That will be a programming language. What are at the core of these empirical approaches? You need to know a little bit of statistics, you need to know a little bit of math, but as in life, you know, you have two alternatives. You learn everything and I feel comfortable to go to the next step, or many like us, you know, and personally me, is that I learned the minimal thing that I need so I can move forward to my next step on the value generation. And then I have two tracks that are running in parallel. And this is a little bit what you would like to do, you know, learning the core components like mathematics, statistics, you know, and the domain expertise. If you like supply chain, if you like manufacturing, if you like finance, understand the use cases, but then having the ability to have the tools to prototype. The last prototyping tool, and is connected to communication, so allow me to put communication back, is how we present the information, right? To who we are talking. That typically, apart from your ways of envisioning your end users, is having an ability to use a visualization tool. Typically, people are being driven by the open source. So either you have Power BI, which you have a free license for desktop, but also people say, okay, there's within these programming languages, there's a way to create dashboards or visualizations that I will use that. So correct me, Manuel and Alej, you have Dash from a Python perspective, and you have Shiny from an R, right? So it depends how you want. End to end is grab data, play with it, find value, know how to present it, you know? That's a little bit. So communication is always on top of everything, and the ability to understand a problem is underneath of that, you know? I don't know if that's, I did a lot of hand gestures, but you know, in a whiteboard would be much more easy. Yeah.
But very, very clear. And I have, well, not an easy question now.
So it's for Alej then. So it's for Alej.
Regarding the challenges, could you mention, you know, what are your biggest challenges with your internal and external stakeholders? If there are, obviously. But...
You want to take it, Alej?
Well, I want to give an example, but then you finalize the answer. For example, one of the challenges when that PepsiCo is facing right now is that some of the process were done more manually in the past from the business side, and now we are trying to create tools powered by artificial intelligence that to make more smarter and efficient decisions. So sometimes one challenge could be like well, for some people to adapt to these new methodologies, these new programs that we are building, because sometimes things that were more manually done in the past, it's not easy to change this kind of mindset to an artificial intelligence mindset, and that could be a challenge. But maybe Gaston can point out something else.
Let me be more generic, which is kind of my field. So it's good that you, Alej, being specific. So I think, again, personal opinion, I think a challenge within the company is to be to already successful company, you know, tell them, hey, you know, go a little bit to the right, you know, go a little bit to the left, you know. So how you explain an already successful and pool of people that are focusing on, you know, delivering value, you know, and how you say, okay, wait, you know, this could be done a little bit different. I'm gonna provide you support for that, you know. Let's see how that feels, you know. And this is not just proving the value. It's also, okay, once you prove the value, it is correctly addressing the day in the life of that particular user. How we avoid, you know, I'm talking above my head because I'm not an application person. I'm a component builder on the analytics side, right? But the thing from an application point of view, we all use different applications, even our phone. So we all are digital native, so we can relate to this example. So how I can not only show value, has a purpose, but also that is better than what you have. It covers your whole day to day, and so that's the adoption, the change management story. And then how we can envision your feedback so we can continue improving, right? So the challenge is showing to people that you can move a little bit to the right. You need to help us move to a little bit to the right. And in the end, in the short term, mid-term, or long term, you will see the whole value. And when you are already being successful, that's a little bit hard, but at the same time, people won't change, because they see where they're lacking. So it's a not a tension, but it's a kind of a nice interaction to say, okay, I want you to help you go a little bit to the right. They say, okay, are you sure the right? I really need to go a little bit to the left, right? So when you have that type of interaction with the business, say, okay, I'm on board. I know that I need you. I know that I need people like Aleix and Manuel and others helping us to build an application in our day-to-day. Then happens, okay, where are we actually going, right? So the challenge is on board into this thinking people that are too busy, doesn't have the level of understanding of what we want to produce, to them. When they're on board, they're in the driving seat. You have actual colleagues that challenge you. So again, maybe I'm repeating myself, but the key message for me has been always how I can upscale my colleagues' knowledge of what I do so they can continue challenge me so I can provide a better service. And also to spot the things that because I'm not that knowledgeable of their use case, I will never see it unless I spend 40 hours with them. So it's come as snowball, use maybe the setup of the digital acceleration of digital transformation is harder because you need to onboard people, to show they're already successful. Until you do this first delivery, which is successful, then everyone will say, okay, come my friend, I have an idea where you can help me, and that's an infinity loop of value for me, from the generation to the delivery, from the generation to the delivery, with the feedbacks, coming the feedbacks, and then everything is not that, it's not easy, it's not problematic, but it's a great feeling, that you have colleagues that are your users and they know what they want in the end, and how you start interacting with them to improve what the day in the life they have is. I think I send so many messages right now, and apologies for that.
And that's great. And also, like looking at the questions that have been already placed in the Q&A, you have answered one of them. So yeah, that's good and great explanation, Gaston. You have mentioned, like in your answer, you talked about digitalization. We know that, like digitalization is on top of everyone's agenda. So what role does, data and analytics play in achieving PepsiCo's digitalization goal?
Okay, Manuel and Aleix, let me answer that one. So DNA, data and analytics, is part of a larger organization called Strategy and Transformation that has let's call it the mandate to help PepsiCo move in that direction in some areas, right? Because it's a live organization, right? So please don't think that I'm saying that this is static. So within that, DNA is a delivery arm. So how we are helping is when the business, decides what has value globally to be implemented in many markets, right? This is being scoped with the business, with different people, right? People from DNA, and then DNA needs to deliver that. You know, with again, happy tension, healthy tension between roadmaps, you know, what to do and everything. But the role in the digitalization of DNA is to be an execution, that sounds horrible, a delivery arm for S&T, for that reason, for the company itself. There are many other talent pools that are driving also digitalization, but I'm talking about the one that DNA is part of, because yeah, I think that's where I know more. Yeah.
Thank
That's
you.
okay.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, super. And you have explained, you know, like how DNA works, you know, like what are the goals and the demands, but also, you know, like if you could describe in terms of the culture, you know, like within the team, how would you describe that from your experience?
Manu, maybe you go on the particular and I do the general.
Yeah, indeed. And I actually, this traces back to one of the previous answers I gave. Something that I really like about our team, but that's something that I've seen in this field for the past years, is that the team spirit is quite strong, and your peers are not only your workmates, but they also become friends eventually. And that's sort of the nature of the job, which is cooperative. Let's say you build a car on your own, it takes you 3 years. You do it in a team, it takes you 1 year, and you can go with that car anywhere you want. So with this lane metaphor, what I want to say is that if we all work together, we achieve more. And I think that is embedded in everyone's mind. And not only here in this team, like in the previous teams that I was working on in this field, you soon realize that there's you know, like something that you may see in other companies or in other practices, which is like internal competition or something like this. You don't see it here because by nature it is a collaborative field. So for example, if I need to do a project on a specific functional area that I don't really know about, but I know that Alej has worked in that specific area, be it finance, for example, or maybe Alej's background is in finance, I will go to him because he's my first contact point to understand how finance operates and main basic concepts. Because even though I'm going to be programming and handling data, I actually need to understand that. And I think from a culture perspective, the word that will come to mind is team and cooperation. That would be my answer, Maria.
Thank you. Thank you, Manuel. Anything else to add? Any of you?
Yeah. So just from a Pepsi, so let's go like that. From a PepsiCo perspective, I think from a culture point of view, I'm more than able to say that is, you know, again, I visited the factory recently, and I was kind of, you're from Global, come. Let me explain what we do. You know, I was immediately taking part as one more. You know, I wasn't kind of the nerdy guy on the back. You know, I was kind of, hey, let me show you what we do. You know, you're part of this. You know, let me tell you. So PepsiCo has that, you know, you create a network of people that are probably not on your field, that you get so many advice and stories, you know, that PepsiCo mentality, global mentality, I really like it. Because I remember my first week, there was a person from supply chain said, has someone told you what we do here in the supply chain? I said, I know because I want to, so I know supply chain because of my past, but yeah, please do. And gave me like 2 hours of explanation. It was amazing. So I was onboarded by someone that wasn't from my team, apart from the onboarding from my team. So that from a cultural point of view means that even though we have our daily jobs, many of us, many of our colleagues are really executional, there will be a time to upscale you, to make you better. So if you understand better the problems, then you can help better. So that's from a cultural point, I'm totally embrace. From a DNA perspective, because we are digital, We have a mentality of, flat, everyone has a voice, everyone can speak, This happens in the larger organization, but in the digital ones, to attract talents, you need to have certain pillars, right? And I think that the DNA is taking the core values of PepsiCo and translating that to the digital pool of talent that we all are in this call in the end, right? Especially the young, that want to gain autonomy, be outspoken. So from a DNA, you have that. Let me talk about DS, which is kind of where my heart is. So again, PepsiCo DNA, the word empowerment. We want our colleagues, ourselves, to have the feeling of responsibility, autonomy, have a different idea, be able to say it, even though we then agree to disagree and we move forward because we need to move somewhere, right? So that level of empowerment, also this idea of collaboration, that's the other pillar, how we create the environment for us to have the best version of ourselves, And this is a little bit my responsibility. I need to create the environment for Manuel and Alej so they can be their best versions, in an evolutionary way. The other one is communication, key, feedbacks. Not only boss to team lead to contributor. It's the other way around. We are used to only saying the good things about people. Why we don't provide the positive feedback? Sorry, the the negative feedback, but with a correction methodology. Kind of. We need to. And also myself, I'm open for Aleix and Manuel to say to me, hey man, you handled this wrong. So this community of, we are all peers, bosses only appears when there's something going wrong or there's too much at stake, this flows with a good communication. And the last one is collaboration. We are data science. The network is more valuable than the node. We have smart people. In school, we are all smart people. You are only valuable to the team when you connect. So the network is the thing. We have smart people. That doesn't make the cut. It's how your knowledge is being distributed through the network, so others need you less, and you just focus on advancing us in the next layer of of knowledge. If we are talking about state of the art and beyond. Yeah, I don't know, Maria Jose.
Super clear. Yeah. Thank you. And well, we are coming to the last one, and then we move to the Q&A. And I would like to ask to all of you, if you could give a piece of advice to someone starting in their data analytics career, what would it be?
Join PepsiCo? No, that one doesn't count. Okay, so I will do the wise thing, that is listen to them first, and then I give my advice. Okay.
Okay.
I would say have fun in what you do. If you're passionate about it, you will succeed for sure. And if you don't have like a topic that you're extremely interested right now, or that you don't find this topic, just learn as much as possible in many different fields. Data science is a broad field, so get to know as much as possible on all the topics that you have a broad vision of data science, because many projects involve many different things like forecasting, optimization, and so on. So start somewhere, and you will find your path.
Yes, and actually that would be my recommendation as well, Lesh. What I would put on top of that is something that I think is really important given the nature of the job. Is my advice that I was lucky enough that someone told it to me back in the day is, do not be afraid of challenges. They will come, but you are here to embrace them, and in the end they will make you a better professional, and you will learn from them. And not only for the job, you will learn for life. You do a project in route optimization, we talked about it before, and this will give you skills to develop other things in the future, because many of the things are cross-functional. And yeah, what Alesh said, gain knowledge from multiple sources, embrace change, you handle data, but that data can come from multiple sources, can have different meanings. So you will have changing requests, or you will need to understand different things. And so embracing change, and instead of being afraid of it, is I think something good advice that I've been also told in the past and really helped me develop in my career.
Thank
Okay.
you.
For me, two advice. One, nothing, even though that we are, again, using words that I used before, we are so used to getting the gratification of things so immediately, right? We need to think that we start a career, it's more like a marathon, and we smile every kilometer, especially the last ones, right? And I don't do marathon. I'm just imagining what the feeling of the athletes, right? So if you start this, think about um, long-term goals, measure some mid-term, short-term satisfactions, but don't think that this you need to learn it now, and you need to move quickly. No, you will have your own pace. There's a lot of material going on. Some material you will use it and say, this wasn't good. It's okay. We learn from the bad material and the good material. It's not that it's so binary. The other one is, at least happens to me, I don't know if it happens to you, is that we are happy when we practice sports, we don't compare ourselves to the professional players. We just do it. We do paddle, we do basketball in my case, I'm not thinking all the time that, oh, I will never be Jordan, I just enjoy it, Yeah, I like to win, a little bit competitive on the side, but, I enjoy it. I'm not always comparing myself to what is the best. Sometimes, and I've seen it in data science, we are afraid to start something because we are already comparing ourselves with or our vision of our other talented colleague, and I think that's a mistake. Everyone has their own path of learning, if we are happy to go to the gym, to go to a sport, start a new sport with when you are 40, I think the same logic applies to knowledge, we need to remove this ideal vision that we need to be, in my case, as good as Alessi in simulation now. No, eventually, or maybe not, and this is important when you're building your career. Another comment, in data science, as we progress in our careers, the first path was to be a generalist, like you were seating yourself in the technology and the methodology. As we progress in the careers, there's a good value that to that methodology and technology knowledge, you add a domain knowledge, right? So there's people that are really good, again, across many use cases. But as time evolves and the market will decide when, but this is that data science will be a toolkit for the experts, right? So people doing economics are learning Python so they can better prototype, Doctors that want to go into research are starting to be beyond Stata, which is a typical statistical package software, right? So we see that there's value knowing the methodology, knowing the technology, but also don't be afraid to say, hey, I'm a person I'm a industrial engineer or as industrial designer or I don't know, psychologist, that has value. That has value is now you're just upscaling other things, but remember that use case, methodology, and technology are attached. And if one person has the lucky to have three of them, then it becomes a unicorn in a positive way. Hopefully we will have several unicorns, right? But it becomes a valuable person. So I think that will be my advice. Don't run. Plan for the long term. Don't set objectives comparing to other people. Set to your own objectives. Think about the sports example, and then be proud of your previous career choice, you know, because that's your use case. Everything else, you're upscaling, prototyping toolkits to better serve those use cases. Okay. Again, too long answer.
Thank you, Artuna. Thank you, Manuel and Aleix. And well, we have 3 minutes left, a few questions. So let's just start with one of them. And this one goes like this. Could you explain an internal case where a data analysis has provided value? Question asked, prepared, analyzed, and shared.
You guys, you wanna take it?
Sure. No problem.
NRM, IVP. Yeah.
So, for example, I can provide a very quick example. Being aware of time. So, for example, demand planning, or which stands for basically planning, making a prediction of the future demand of the company, involving all the different departments on it. So that means financial people, commercial people, supply chain people, and basically what we do is leverage the power of AI to try to ingest all these different variables into the model and be able to provide a more accurate planning for the future that the company can utilize to operate. And this involves, you were asking about the questions, involves questions mostly about understanding the as-is process, understanding what data is available, in what format is available, how can we work with it, and understanding what is the desired output and process to be followed for the consumers. As Gaston said, we are delivering, so we need to be mindful of the people who will utilize what our output is. So that could be an example of, let's say, internal data analytics value.
Thank you, Manuel. And looking at the time, 1 minute left. And for one more question is, can you tell me more about the day-to-day responsibilities of a graduate position in data and analytics?
That's the Dare to Do More, correct?
Yeah.
So it's envisioned to, as you are being trained, to help us, especially in the innovation side. That means help us get to the next level of methodology or technologies that we will need in the future. At the same time, helping in not same time, but in cycles, be part of any of our developing teams with tasks but not responsibilities. Or responsibilities attached to your let's say level of knowledge, right? So it's a mix between delivery and innovation for me. And in my previous company, those graduates were our innovators, with guidance, with coaching, but they provide high value. So for us is you are joining to provide value. Which value? To be seen. If we're gonna get A to B quickly, I don't know. Maybe when we want to go, we're in the middle of going A to B, we decide to go, it's better C. So we make a turn, no? And this is a little bit your role if you like to join us. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Gaston. Thank you so much, Manuel and Aleix. It has been a pleasure to be with you today. And thank you, everyone, for attending the webinar. If you have more questions, please connect with us via WhatsApp or in our chat that we have 24 hours support 24/7 and in our site. So all the best. Have a lovely afternoon. And again, please feel free to ask any question in our support box. And well, looking forward to see your application. Thank you so much to everyone. Have a nice afternoon. Bye-bye.
Thank you.